The night erupted with a scream that sliced through the storm's rumble. Clara Thornton bolted upright, her novel crashing to the floor as the fire alarm's piercing wail filled her condo at Willow Grove Estates. Her heart thundered as she stumbled to the window, where flashing red lights painted the courtyard in chaos. Smoke coiled from the west wing, a dark serpent against the flickering orange of flames clawing at the upper windows. The elegant but aging complex, a 1980s relic of rose bushes and faded glory, was burning. "Henry!" Clara yelled, her voice raw as she turned to her husband, who was already scrambling from the couch, his glasses askew. "There's a fire, grab your phone." We're Leah VYing. Her hands shook as she snatched a flashlight, her mind screaming one truth. This is what we begged them to prevent. For months, she and a few neighbors had pleaded with the Homeowners Association to install sprinklers, to fix the crumbling infrastructure. Every appeal was dismissed with the same tired excuses. Too costly. No major fires in decades. Why bother? Now, as the alarm shrieked and the stench of burning plastic seeped through the walls, Clara's fear was edged with rage. They'd been ignored, and tonight they'd pay. Henry gripped her arm, his voice steady despite his wide eyes. "Stay with me." They rushed into the hallway, where flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the worn carpet. Neighbors poured from their dorsum in robes, others clutching pets or papers. The air thickened, smoke stinging Clara's eyes. She thought of Mrs. Langston, who used a cane, and Mr. Gupta, tethered to an oxygen tank. Can they get out? The question burned as they joined the frantic crowd surging toward the exit. Willow Grove had been Clara and Henry's home for 5 years, a retirement haven of potlucks and quiet evenings. But beneath its manicured lawns and charming lanterns, the complex was decaying. Leaky roofs, rattling pipes, and a wheezing heating system betrayed its age. Small fyrisa, shorted outlet. A kitchen mishap had sparked brief alarm over the years, but the HOA, led by the steely Margaret Klein, brushed them off. New extinguishers and exit signs were their answer, a flimsy fix for a gaping wound. Clara, once content to keep the peace, had grown restless. She teamed up with Leo Martinez, a retired electrician with a gravelly voice and a fire in his eyes. Together, they'd rallied a small group, writing letters and petitioning the local paper about the risks of neglecting safety in an aging community. Their efforts crashed against Margaret's icy authority. With her tailored blazers and sharp gaze, she silenced dissent with a single look. "We meet all codes," she'd say, her tone final. Whispers circulated that some board members planned to sell their units before costly upgrades hit, Leah VYing others to face the consequences. That spring, the HOA's budget vote had excluded sprinklers again. Clara watched from her kitchen window as a tense crowd gathered by the clubhouse. Only board members and select owners could speak. Others' written pleas vanished into a void. Leo was there, his gestures fierce under his faded cap. Margaret stood nearby, unmoved. When the group scattered, their slumped shoulders told Clara the outcome. She clutched the HOA's latest notice no major upgrades this year and felt dread coil in her gut. "They'll ignore us until disaster strikes," she told Henry, her voice tight. He nodded, his jaw clenched. "We keep fighting." Life at Willow Grove resumed its rhythm. Residents swapped gossip at the mailbox and planned the summer craft fair, but Clara's unease lingered. She noticed every flickering bulb, every whiff of burnt toast. At potlucks, her gaze drifted to the ceilings, picturing sprinklers that weren't there. Henry tried to distract her with lakeside walks, but her mind stayed on the risks. One muggy July evening, Clara and Leo sat in the community room, surrounded by chatter about the fair. Leo, usually lively, stared into his coffee. "You okay?" Clara asked softly. He sighed, his hands tightening. "It's not me, Clara. It's folks like Mrs. Langston, who can't move fast, or Mr. Gupta with his oxygen. A fire would trap them." His eyes blazed. "I'm done waiting. I've called Fire Chief Dan Sullivan for an inspection. Maybe that'll shake things up." Clara's heart lifted. Does Margaret know? Leo smirked. She will. I'm not tiptoeing anymore. Margaret swept in moments later, her presence commanding. She glided through the crowd, but her eyes flicked to Clara and Leo, a flash of irritation betraying her composure. Word of the inspection had spread, and she saw it as a stunt. Approaching, her smile was tight. Leo, an inspection? Don't you think that's a bit alarmist? Leo held her gaze. If everything's fine, what's there to fear? Her lips pursed. We're compliant. This could make people think Willow Grove's unsafe. Clara stepped in, her voice measured. Shouldn't experts decide that? Margaret's eyes narrowed, but her tone stayed cool. We balance budgets and peace. An inspection might cause panic. You'd prefer harmony, wouldn't you, Clara? Her condescension stung. People deserve the truth, Clara shot back. If sprinklers are needed, that's no secret to keep. Margaret's smile didn't waver. 30 years, no major issues. Let's not overreact. She turned away, Leah VYing Clara and Leo simmering. The board wouldn't budge. Chief Sullivan arrived days later, his team inspecting wiring, alarms, and exits. Clara watched from her window, hope warring with anxiety. At the clubhouse briefing, Sullivan's verdict was blunt. You meet minimum standards, but this place is old. Sprinklers would make a big difference. He noted outdated wiring and lax fire drills, not violations, but risks. The room went quiet. Leo nodded grimly. Clara glanced at Margaret, whose arms were crossed, her face stone. The board had their answer, but would they act? A letter soon landed in every mailbox, touting compliance and ignoring Sullivan's ad VYC. Clara's anger flared. Leo suggested a petition to override the board, but needed a 2/3 majority, a steep climb against Margaret's allies and fee-wary residents. We'll try, Leo said, his voice heavy. The fire came on a stormy August night. Lightning cracked as Clara knitted, her nerves taut. Henry was making tea when the lights flickered. A frantic knock revealed their neighbor, Sophie Chun, drenched and panicked. Water's leaking through my ceiling light, she cried. They found a puddle in her unit, the fixture dripping. Maintenance blamed a clogged gutter, promising a late fix. Sophie stayed with them, another sign of Willow Grove's decay. 2 weeks later, Clara was reading when a sharp smell burning plastic jerked her upright. A neighbor's shout, "Smoke!" sent her racing to the hall. The fire alarm blared, doors flying open. "Utility room fire," someone yelled. Clara shook Henry awake. "Fire. We're going." They grabbed phones and shoes, joining the chaotic rush. Smoke thickened, lights flickered, then died. Emergency bulbs cast a dim glow. Clara's heart raced. No sprinklers. Outside, fire trucks roared in, firefighters charging inside. Residents huddled on the lawn, some sobbing, others shouting for loved ones. Clara spotted Sophie, coughing, but not Leo or Mrs. Langston. Flames leapt from the west wing, unchecked. Clara gripped Henry's hand, whispering, "This didn't have to happen." Firefighters carried out Leo, soot-stained and limp. Paramedics worked frantically, CPR on the grass. Clara's tears fell as Sophie choked out. He was helping Mrs. Langston. Her cane slowed her. Mrs. Langston emerged next, unconscious, an oxygen mask on. 2 others missed her. Gupta and a woman, Ellen, were found in the far wing, critical. By morning, the fire was out, the west wing a blackened husk. A shelter housed displaced residents. Clara learned Mr. Gupta and Ellen hadn't served VY-VED. Leo and Mrs. Langston were in intensive care. News crews swarmed, headlines screaming about the HOA's negligence. Clara's grief mixed with fury. Margaret appeared at the shelter, disheveled, but Clara felt only anger. This was their failure. An emergency meeting followed, packed with grieving residents. Margaret, shaken, proposed sprinklers and upgraded a hollow reversal. A man stood, voice breaking. "My sister died because you wouldn't pay. How dare you?" The board looked away, guilt heavy. Residents demanded resignations and lawsuits. The vote for safety upgrades passed unanimously. Contractors soon installed sprinklers, fireproofed walls, and updated alarms. Margaret resigned. Lawsuits loomed. Clara VY cited Leo, weak but alive. Took death to make them act, he rasped. Clara nodded, tears falling. Too late. Willow Grove rebuilt, sprinklers gleaming as reminders of loss and change. A safety committee formed, Clara among them, honoring the fallen. Neighbors grew closer, potlucks now acts of healing. But the fire's shadow lingered, a warning etched in memory. Neglect today could burn tomorrow. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.